Welcome, all-girl circus performers, to Geek Salad's retro movie reviews from the Geek Salad podcast. I'm Andy.
Mike.
And we close out our look at the films of Roger Moore. We covered my favorite Roger Moore and my least favorite Roger Moore, which were The Man with the Golden Gun and Moonraker. Followed by last week, we covered Mike's favorite Roger Moore, which is For Your Eyes Only. And now, on to his least favorite. Mike, tell the good folks what it is.
It is Octopussy, and I swear if I wanted to watch this again, I probably would need to be in an all-time high.
Octopussy. Octopussy.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing about this movie.
Oh, it's just how many times Louis Jourdan says the word Octopussy. And I am fairly certain he's the only person who calls her by name.
I mean, other than I think Bond says it a couple times.
I think Bond is usually like my dear, my lady, that kind of.
I think when he's like talking to like Q or M, I think he mentioned.
Okay, all right, yeah, I don't know. All right, so my big takeaway from this movie, first of all, the DVD player on my laptop sucks. It's like the program that I'm using right now is awful because it kept like freezing up.
Yeah.
Next takeaway. Oh my God. How can you say we got our asses handed to us by Indiana Jones in 1981 without saying we got our asses handed to us by Indiana Jones in 1981?
Yeah.
This movie has so many of those high adventure things that we would I think we'd feel to expect in a Bond movie, but
I mean, not only that, but like when did Temple of Doom come out?
84.
So this one was doing racist India before Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. I mean,
racist.
Outside of some, a lot of background players, because they do shoot these things on location. So good on you.
Yeah. And there were some
killed my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
The guy who was like beating people with his tennis racket. By the way, that guy, that actor, famous international tennis player.
Oh. Because I've seen him before. He was in Star Trek 4.
Was he?
Yeah, one of the ships that was disabled by the alien.
Oh,
he was the captain. There's like, with any luck, we can fashion a solar sail that give us power. I was like, right. I know I've heard his voice before when I was watching it today.
I'm pulling it up just to be on the safe side here. James Bond is British, only makes sense. He's racist to people of India. Seriously, this movie, Kurt, had all the colonial vibes that you could ever want or need. It is insane.
At least Temple of Doom had those kind of buffer saying, "Oh, well, it was set in the 30s." Here, no, this was set in the 80s. So, but it was still 1930s India.
Okay, Vijay Armitage was in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. Good job.
I recognize his voice.
He also played a doctor on Walker, Texas Ranger. So I'm sure hilarity ensued there because, Chuck Norris is a racist piece of shit.
Chuck Norris would never do something racist, right?
Chuck Norris sued the dudes that essentially put him back in irrelevancy. Fuck Chuck Norris.
Sarcasm.
But I feel like this. All right. So let's just talk about some of the more problematic aspects of this. So first of all, we are expected to believe that Frenchman Louis Jourdan is an exiled Pakistani prince.
Afghan prince.
Afghan. Okay.
World of difference, right?
Totally.
Oh, no,
and there is. There
absolutely is.
Too, but yeah, exactly. Pakistan is closer to India.
Playing in either a Pakistani or
either. I feel like they darkened them up for it too, which is gross.
What's even grosser is when I back. It was last year, I think. When I was out at the Academy Award Museum,
Mm-hmm.
They actually had a display that showed different skin dyes or skin like rubs for different like races.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
dear.
Oh yeah. They
Oh dear.
actually had like, and they were like labeled like like this one yellow for yellow China, or yellow Japan, or black Negro. It was.
Welcome to our problematic wing of the Academy Museum.
Oh yeah, they made no bones about it. Like this is what we did, and this is not right at all.
Yeah, exactly. So please, gawk. Feel free to gawk at these things.
Yeah.
Also, Louis Jourdan's character's name, Camel Khan. Camel. Camel with a K. They're missing one extra K in there, and the fact, it's just so. There's a lot about this movie that if a Scotsman could be a Spaniard or French, but we still joke about that though.
Yeah.
I will, and this might be something we might have to have a conversation about at some juncture, Mike. I contend that Highlander might be one of the most overrated nerd movies of all time. It has its moments.
I've seen it once, and that was a while ago.
Right.
And honestly, what's his name?
Christopher Lambert.
He's never been my favorite actor. I don't think he's even all that good.
Controversially, I will say he is probably the most overrated nerd actor in history. Pretty much for this role. But getting back to that, I will debate this. Excellent. I just feel like this movie leaned too much into its weaknesses.
The
fact that Roger Moore was a spry 56 years old, 55 to 6 years old when he made this thing.
That was totally him climbing on the side of that train, right?
Totally him doing all of those stunts. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like
we saw more of Roger Moore's stunt double in this movie than we did Roger Moore.
We did. And the one-liners in this movie are all just, every single one is more groan-worthy than the last, because at this point it's just like, these don't make any sense, or you're gross.
Yeah.
The whole thing with like Q's like robotic magic rope climbing thing again. Welcome to the problematic wing of the Academy Museum.
Yeah, and who do we have climbing the rope? Is it a British secret agent? No, it's a guy in a white diaper.
Yeah. This is it's so hard because it's just there's so many of them. It's like in this movie everything's a joke to Bond because it's the only thing that he can contribute on screen.
Yeah.
He's just, and I said this about For Your Eyes Only, but he's really looking, and I'm not trying to be ageist, he's looking old. He's looking too old to pull this off. And that was, I think, the biggest issue with Roger Moore in general was that, like, some of these guys were in their 50s and they looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig is in his 50s. He looks fit. I believe he is Bond.
Yeah.
I just can't with this.
Yeah. I mean, Roger Moore, he's never been the most action star around. And the Bond movies, they're just trying to force him into roles that he should not be forced into.
Well, you know the whole story about this, right? Like he was gonna stop after For Your Eyes Only, and they actually were very close to actually offering it to James Brolin.
James Brolin.
James Brolin, Josh's dad, was actually.
Wow, I know they were looking at Pierce Brosnan.
They were looking at Pierce Brosnan. They weren't. I don't think they were looking at him this early. They were looking at him as the eventual replacement. But that is the story for another time because James Bond will return. James Brolin was in high consideration for this, and then they found out that Kevin McClory was doing a Thunderball ripoff with Sean Connery as James Bond for Warner Brothers, and they're like, "Oh, give me Roger's number." Hey.
You hear that beeping in the background? That's the bum truck of money. We're backing up into your house.
Yeah.
You want to come back?
That's fine. In the 80s and today, people smoked like chimneys and drank like Oliver Reed. It aged me horribly too if I lived like that.
He doesn't do a lot of drinking in this movie, actually.
No, there isn't. And he does drink it. And I always make a point of noticing when Moore drinks martinis. Because it was rare, because originally it was, he didn't want to do the martinis. It was going to be bourbon. Fine, I'm a bourbon man. I love that. But
in For Your Eyes Only, I do know they gave him a vodka martini because I want to say it was Julian Glover's character says, shaken, not stirred, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that they do, I mean, they tried to put it in there. It wasn't nearly as like prominent as how they did it with Connery or how they did it with Craig. Again, another story, another time. We're definitely going to be, we definitely got some good Craig stuff to talk about later. But this movie is tough. So let's talk about the villains, because villains.
Well, we've got a horrifically over the top Soviet general.
Oh my God, Steven Berkoff. So all right. So first of all, kids, Steven Berkoff was Victor Maitland in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, he was.
He you know what? That thing. It's like that. Like Russell Crowe's got one of those too. It's like dead center. It's like Christian Bale's eye wart. It's just like these things that are just like you can't not stare at it.
It's weird. When I saw that, I was like, that's an odd makeup choice. Why did they do that? And then I looked up a picture. Oh, that's real. Oh,
that's on him. Yeah, it's still there, by the way, because he was on the last couple seasons of the show Vikings, and but Steven Berkoff he's still alive, very avant-garde playwright, and he wrote a lot of just angry British plays, but he'd always play these villains in movies that were just like, ugh.
Yeah,
and the way he was, I think you put it best, because when he's showing the map of Russia's, nuclear capability, and he's hustling up to the thing like no military person walks. What did you say he looked like he was walking? How he's walking?
I said it looks like he was trying to hold in a turd between his butt cheeks.
Yeah, it was the weirdest. And he really, the weird thing is too, is that they make this. They make this big show of making him as like, I'm going to just blow up the world with nuclear weapons in my terrible Russian accent. And that really, he doesn't do much else.
No.
And then he's shot in the back. I mean, the big thing is Kamal Khan and his, giant henchman who crushes things with his hands.
Yeah, because that wasn't Oddjob's bit that he stole.
Yeah. Oh, and that was the other thing too. So there's this. It's like this nameless side villain that shows up with like this yo-yo buzzsaw.
Yeah,
it is a circular saw blade on a chain.
2 circular saw blades.
Oh, were there 2?
Yeah, there were 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't figure out how the physics of that work at all.
Especially since like he drops it down and then it spins and like it's like. I'm good with the yo-yo. I don't think I could do that with 2 really heavy saw blades.
Well, not only that, but the centrifugal force needed to actually make those blades cut through stuff. Yes, they can be sharp, but they're not cutting through a feather bed.
No.
Not with any. You need to build up so much space. Just watch. Next time you are near a workshop, like if your dad's got a workshop, look how fast that circular saw has to spin in order to cut through wood.
Oh, no. I use a circular saw blade at work, and I have to cut through aluminum rails.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has to spin a hell of a lot faster than that thing was.
Yeah, exactly. And I even texted you, I was like, how does this thing even?
Yeah. Yo-yo saw blades are like the newest thing.
Yeah. Also, this movie is a great way of reminding yourself that the circus is the fucking worst. Oh my god, it's like it's this small little one ring circus that everybody in town's got to go to.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's like super kind of like Euro trashy in a way that we think that Cirque du Soleil is like the guy who shoots himself out of the cannon. He's got angel wings and a fancy mustache, and you know.
I love the fact that the circus goes first to East Germany, Soviet East Germany, and then the next stop is a U.S. missile base.
Yeah.
No one said like maybe we should have some gaps in between there.
Who's booking these? And all right, so there's that scene where Octopussy's like henchwomen are all in what essentially look like the Flash uniform that you order from Wish. Seriously, it's just like 5 women all in like head to toe red spandex with the octopus symbol on them.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that Magda, her henchwoman, that Octopussy's tattoo she had, that was clearly a rub-on tattoo.
Oh my god, that was the worst looking tattoo I've ever seen. Seriously,
the outline of the plastic.
Yeah, that's my little Octopussy. Oh,
is
all right.
Oh, but by the way, before we get to Maud Adams, her character says, yeah, her father called her first Octopussy. It's like, so that's not a real name, but whose father calls you Octopussy?
I don't. Again, nothing in this movie makes sense. And this is supposed to be a more straightforward, we learned our lessons from Moonraker movie.
Clearly you didn't.
No, you didn't, because you're trying to chase that Indiana Jones buck.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And this was it's like, this is what you're going to put out against Return of the Jedi and War Games and other big 1983 movies.
Yeah, this was the one where, hey, kids, remember James Bond? He's not your dad, James Bond. Yeah, he kind of is.
Man. I will say this, though. On the positive side, Maud Adams was made to be a Bond girl.
Oh, yeah.
Legitimately made to be a Bond girl. I don't know if I've seen her in other things, and she's not great, but she is the perfect Bond, especially for this era.
I was kind of hoping she'd get more to do, because I mean, after the last couple movies, after like Moonraker and For Your Eyes Only, where we had pretty badass women, we had this, Maud Adams playing Octopussy, who was like this played up to be this really badass, and then the whole third act, she's just a tied up hostage.
No, she is, exactly. She had, all of her circus hench people do the work. By the way,
the maximum of her badassery is she knocks out a henchman with a bottle of wine.
Right.
That's
the thing with this movie too is the fact that like Act 3 is almost completely, all the dialogue in Act 3 seems like it was done in the ADR booth.
Yeah.
So much of this, like there's that stuff with Q. I felt really bad for Q in this one, because it's like,
yeah,
it's like they gave it, and I understand Roger Moore wanted Desmond Llewellyn to have more screen time, and he certainly, I think Q gets more screen time in these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Desmond Llewellyn's Q.
Oh, yeah.
Gets more screen time in Roger Moore's movies progressively as we go, versus, when he shows up in other, Connery stuff, the Dalton stuff, or the Brosnan stuff.
And I'm cool with that, because I always loved seeing more Desmond Llewellyn. It's just like, you could have given him better stuff than this.
Exactly. It's just,
they throw him in to be the butt of a joke, basically.
Several jokes. Yeah. And then the very end, I'm going to assume that, Octopussy's circus women are just going to all tag team him, I guess. It's how it was implied. Good for him. But, again, that was shot, that was recorded in ADR booth somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
I'm guessing that the hot air balloon engine probably drowned out most of his dialogue.
Probably. But even after like that was done, it was. I mean, ADR is a fact of movie life. It's a fact of movie production life. You need it, but bad ADR is still unforgivable.
Oh yeah, it is significantly noticeable when it's bad ADR.
Yeah. But this whole movie. All right, music. Can't forget about that stellar song.
I did make a reference. I said next time I have to watch this, I need to be at an all-time high.
Yeah. Oh my God, Rita Coolidge's all-time high, because you can't put the word Octopussy into a song and expect to get any radio play.
Hey, if they can do it with Goldfinger and Thunderball, they can do it with Octopussy. Damn it!
It's like they didn't even try. It's like even with Moonraker, like, Shirley Bassey was able to jam that in there. Right? Carly Simon got The Spy Who Loved Me, and Nobody Does It Better. Yeah. Just not so subtly jab the title in there. And quite honestly, it's like it won't be until the next movie, which unfortunately we are not reviewing, A View to a Kill, where they really, make a meal out of that title. But
I mean, the thing is, though, the thing about for the Octopussy that makes it a better movie than Moonraker. I'll give you Moonraker is a worse Bond movie.
Yeah.
But this one, because the Moonraker story is just stupid.
The Moonraker story is The Spy Who Loved Me, just in space.
Yeah. This one, the story is actually not bad. I mean, it's done awfully. It's done horribly. But the basic storyline, there's something there.
Yeah.
They just didn't do it well.
Yeah, it's like, we've said this about the Roger Moore movies, is that these movies dance that fine line between being, lawful silly or silly evil. And this one is just like it's teetering on that silly evil, because a lot of it is just it's nonsense to make a 55-year-old man look like an action star.
And it's even worse to make him look like a clown.
Oh God!
First they put him in a gorilla suit, then they put him in a clown suit.
Was the balloon absolutely necessary for the 00 that they killed? Also, he's like being chased by the twin knife guys, and he set the balloon tied to his wrist. It's I don't know. It's but the song is just it definitely it. But again, remember I was telling I was talking about how these movies tend to exist 2 years before they're actually released. This all-time high is a 1980 AM, easy listening staple.
It sounds like it.
It did. Again, 1980, not a single that came out in 1983. And they're not really going to snap back to that until the next movie, where they actually relevant band. We got this. I mean, even with Sheena Easton for Your Eyes Only, she was a top, Morning Train, baby. 81, big hit.
And actually, I didn't mind that song.
I didn't mind it. It's not my favorite, but this is definitely not my favorite. This will land in the 00 negative column of of Bond songs. And the thing about this movie also that drives me nuts, before, my final thought on this movie was, I'm like, oh man, this thing feels like it's been going on forever. Let me check to see. An hour? I have an hour left?
That entire final battle at Khan's castle, whatever, completely unnecessary.
Well, the whole thing, here's the thing about this whole movie, is that final battle is the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
5 of which were dedicated to credits. It's just like, it is 2 minutes longer than For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah. Much like Moonraker, that whole final sequence where they have to, are they going to shoot down all those satellites? Are they going to do it? Unnecessary. Did not need it. This one, that whole end battle in the castle. Didn't need it. Once that bomb was defused, the story was over.
Yep. Well, you had to actually show that Octopussy's troop could actually do something.
Yeah, they keep tacking on these unnecessary fourth acts.
Yep. Yeah, but
yeah,
it's over, Mike.
Yeah,
it's over. The more
I will say, you had the worst pick. I had the better best pick.
You did, yeah. I will fully admit to that. It's just, for me, Man with Golden Gun's a soft spot.
Yeah,
because it's so silly, but it's a good silly.
It is.
So yeah. Any other thoughts on Octopussy? No? Good.
Nah.
Good. I can't talk about this movie anymore. So next week we're in a bit of a conundrum for the next two. All right, because we can't really grade my favorite, Mike's favorite, my least favorite, Mike's least favorite, because Timothy Dalton only made 2 movies. So we're going to leave it up to ourselves to watch The Living Daylights and figure out where it would fall, and then License to Kill, and see where it's gonna fall.
I can already tell you that The Living Daylights has my second favorite theme song.
Right. And we will talk about that next week. So we want to know, what are your thoughts on Octopussy? Where does this sit in the Moore canon for you, or the Bond canon? Do you actually like this movie? Because I know a lot of people actually do like this movie. It's fine. It's fine. But we want to know. Leave a polite comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to Geek Salad. We are here every week, giving you our retro movie reviews. Can't wait to talk next week about the Dalton movies. I don't think I've given them enough time, so I have to definitely sit back and watch and see how I
remember watching them before. I just can't remember when I watched them.
I've watched them both before too, but again, at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think I know which one I liked more, but I can't say for certain.
Same, but we will save that. Yeah. So, yeah. So don't forget, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends if they are fans of Bond. Also, Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts, which is Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast. We are there. Check us out. If you haven't already checked out our audio commentary track for Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, for the love of God, go do it. You might have a long weekend coming up because it's Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. What else are you going to do, right? Come on. Celebrate Obi-Wan the only way you can, with us shitting on Attack of the Clones, right? So, anyway.
We didn't shit too much on Ewan McGregor.
Oh, no. He's magnificent. Yes, but he's the less creepy of the two. So, anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. Talk to you later.